The best part of that video is there isn't a mask in sight. Welcome, everyone, to Uwcsea first ever forum to celebrate 50 years of UWC in Singapore. My name's Lizzie Bray, and I'm the head of the Dover campus and your host this morning. After 2 long years of COVID restrictions, I am thrilled that we're able to have so many of you here back live and in person. Of course, the silver lining of the pandemic is that we all know how to operate on a virtual platform. So I am extending a very warm welcome to the many, many people who are joining us online today. Almost 4,000 of us have registered for 2 days of learning to shape the future. We have current faculty, staff, board members, parents, former staff, former board members, alumni, and other partners joining us. The teacher in me has to assign you a task, sorry. But the task is a bit of a backup plan. Just in case, Casley, I know this is not going to happen, I need to fill some space for our tech pause. I want you to have a think about what it means when we say learning to shape the future. What part of that sentence do you connect with the most? So over the next 2 days, as you engage with one of the many different workshops that are on offer, keep coming back to that question. And if I need to, I'm going to be asking you to do a table partner talk in the room. I would now like to extend a very warm welcome to our college president, Carma Elliot, who will speak with you.
Thank you, Lizzie, for a very warm and inviting opening to today's event. And on behalf of the Board of Governors and the whole Uwcsea college community, it's an honour and pleasure to open what is our capstone event of our 50th anniversary year. We'll be joined over the next 2 days by a global audience from amongst the 4,000, we hope even more, who will or have registered, from across the 18 schools and colleges of the UWC movement, partners and leaders in the world of education, in Singapore and beyond. This year also marks the 60th anniversary, as we saw there, of the UWC movement, with the foundation of Atlantic College in Wales. I'm absolutely delighted that we have with us today Dr. Musimbi Kanyoro, who's the chair of the UWC International Board, the new Executive Director of the UWC International Office, Faith Abiodun. We have here representatives from 5 of our sister schools and colleges, and I hope that everybody will have a chance to meet up in the Heritage Cafe or otherwise. I'm also delighted to welcome Cara Owen, the British High Commissioner, and others from the world of diplomacy, and Victor Mills, who, as the Chief Executive of the Singapore International Chamber of Commerce, from our beginnings, the Chamber and its members have been a very strong supporter of both the foundation and the growth of Uwcsea, and in fact wrote a check in the very early days from those who represented the Rubber Tappers Association, I think it was. So some fantastic history, legacy, but also the future in this room together, and we welcome very much those representing our partners and stakeholders online as well. So those very early days, when the school was established at Lee Kuan Yew, the Prime Minister's request, we've had from our Singapore partners, from the government, from the agencies of government, and from partners over time, some of whom date back for 50 years, such strong continuing support, as we were seen as an essential, strong pillar of Singapore's own plans for development of its economy, but also to attract foreign talent as well. And we see how this has come to fruition today as what is the largest international school in the world. Let me set the scene, if I may, for the next 2 days. It is now actually almost exactly 2 years since we first wrote to Howard Gardner and to all those others who are going to join us virtually, and when we started planning for the, I think it's 36 separate sessions that will take place over the next 2 days. So very much encourage you to dip into everything that is coming, given that we're coming together around the theme, learning to shape the future. We are convening, I think that's an important point, building a platform, but a way of convening together to build the opportunity both for stimulating dialogue and debate. Please act as our critical friends as well, emphasis on friends and constructive criticism. But as we all together actually think and shape our thinking, as we pivot towards the next 50 years, I hope continuing to do so together with you. This year, Uwcsea is celebrating all that has contributed to our success of our holistic education model. Together, we're taking up the challenge to reimagine how we might continue to bring our mission to life over the next 50 years. In our Kishore Mabambani lecture series, which was launched 2 years ago, we had an overall focus on reimagining education. And that set us on this path to today's event and for the next 2 days. And under the themes of inclusion, innovation, partnership, peace, and sustainability, we now come together for an exploration of how we shape teaching and learning for the future. These themes will not only frame our discussions over the next 2 days, but also start to shape the decisions and the ideation of the college's next strategy, and our vision for our work and the impact we desire now and for the future. And that work will be taken forward. We also have in our audience, Madden, our chair, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Board of Governors as well, Stephanie Green also representing the board. That work is very important as we ideate and shape our own strategy for the future. We have gathered together what I think is a truly inspirational lineup of keynote speakers and guests. Internationally recognized thought leaders in education, together with researchers and expert practitioners from our community. They will be joined by guest presenters, researchers, students, alumni, and parents who've contributed to making Uwcsea who we are today. We're also launching the findings of research into elements of our holistic education program, and a series of virtual booths will showcase some of the exciting projects underway across the college today. Please do explore all of those options on Socio, and there are those who can help you sign up if you haven't already managed to do so, but please do sign up. So I think it just leaves it for me to say, on behalf of all of us in the Uwcsea community and our global audience, let's get started and set the course for our exploration of the future together. So I'm going to invite Lizzie to come back up and take us on that journey.
Thank you very much, Carma. It's my pleasure. Oh no, I'm allowed to take this off up here, aren't I? Pause. There we go. Susan, I do like the one though that you made. The elephants is my favorite one. It's my pleasure now to introduce the first of our keynote sessions. Howard Gardner is speaking on the fascinating topic, Good Work for Our Time, From Ideas to Impact. Howard Gardner is the Hobbs Research Professor of Cognition and Education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. He is a leading thinker on education and human development and has studied and written extensively about intelligence, creativity, leadership, and professional ethics. Our bookshelves, many of us in the room, his books are on our bookshelves. Anyone who works in education, and many who don't, are familiar with Professor Gardner's influence on our thinking and practice in education, and it is a real honor and privilege to hear from him this morning. Professor Gardner has recorded his thoughts in advance of this session. He shares some ideas on good work and its components, as well as some questions about how we might know if we have been successful. You'll also be excited to hear reference to the work that Howard and his team have been doing with the UWC movement as they've investigated the impact of our education. The data collection and analysis for this important study is completed, and he and the team are currently in the process of finalizing the report for publication. We're very interested in how this study can contribute to our thinking around holistic education, and in more general terms as well, how schools can ensure that we're preparing students with the skills, the qualities, and the competencies that will help them to become good citizens, doing good work in a good society, learning to shape the future, indeed. At the end of the video, this is the tech part I'm a little nervous about, but I promised, has been told it's going to work. Howard is going to join us live online from Boston and answer questions in person with us. The live audience, you will be able to come down, and I will invite you down to ask questions at one of the two mics on either side of the stage. And our online audience, you can add the questions into the chat, and we will feed them to Howard as well. So without further ado, I am delighted to welcome Professor Howard Gardner for the first of our keynote sessions, Good Work for Our Time, From Ideas to Impact.